All right, check it out. So we're gonna hop in right now and start making some enchilada sauce. And we're gonna use that chili powder that I just made. The home, with all the pepper. You saw the video, so you know what I'm talking about. But now we're gonna make some enchilada sauce with that chili powder. Check it out. The first thing we gotta do actually to start a chili sauce is we gotta make a roux. That's R-O-U-X. So if you don't know what a roux is, it's basically equal parts fat of your choice and flour. It's used as a thickening agent for sauces and such like that. So we're going to dig in. I've got flour. What we're using for our fat, I'm using straight up beef tallow because I think it tastes the best. Right, Sophia?
Yeah.
It tastes the best. And especially when you're making enchilada sauce, it is just spectaculicious, baby. So let's get it in the pan. Or the pot. Okay, so here I got a bunch of beef tallow. I actually rendered my own beef tallow. So we got about a quarter cup in the pot. Let's go ahead and get that melted and going. Look at that prettiness. See? Yes, please. So this beef fat gets all melted down, gets going. Oh, man, the smell of that beef tallow melting is spectaculicious, I'm telling you. We're going to throw in same amount, about a quarter cup, some flour, right? Check it out. Mix it up. It's going to get really thick and crumbly. And this is what you want, right? Keep mixing it because you don't want it to burn. Now this flour will burn and this flour will burn and add a bad flavor to the sauce. So you want to mix it up, get that flour all incorporated. See how that's thick? Look at that. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's a beautiful thing, I tell you. See that? This is what I like to see. So it almost looks like, I don't know, like a pudding or something like that. I don't know, thick. Like a paste, almost. That's what I like to see. Oh, assistant.
Yes.
Could you bring that water for me, please?
Yes.
It's always good to have an assistant.
Here you go.
All right, dump it in there. Okay, that's good.
Back to my jelly bowl.
And then we're going to bring this back to a boil. That roux that we mixed up will actually work as a really good thickening agent for this. So it's going to be awesome sauce. Give it a minute. Okay, so as you can see, we added that water. It was really thin, but because of that roux, oops, I just splashed everywhere. It's thickening up very nicely. See that? And that is the base for some enchilada sauce. And then we're just going to keep adding water until you get to the level right about here. Little by little. Go ahead, add that in.
Okay, that was my fault right there, okay? Give me that napkin.
We're going to keep mixing this up, keep letting it get thicker and thicker. It's about right there. We'll come back when we get to that point, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. All right, so we got to that point. I already added a little bit. We're going to add a little bit of this chili powder we made, little by little. Now, it's weird. Throughout the years, I've made this enchilada sauce. And people have loved it. People have hated it. They always call it red sauce, brown sauce, whatever you want to call it. But it gets its color from the chili powder. And people always wanted to add dyes and all kinds of other stuff. Like, dude, you don't need to. If you got a good chili powder, good color chili powder, you're going to get that color in your sauce. So little by little, we're just going to add some of that chili powder until it gets a nice thickness. And another thing that's important, garlic powder and some salt. Salt is tricky. You got to do it to taste. Some people use garlic salt. I don't like to use garlic salt because you need a lot of garlic but not a lot of salt. So we'll keep mixing this, keep stirring it. I'm going to put it I'm going to lower the heat. Really just let it simmer now. And as it simmers, it's going to thicken up more and more and more. So see, it's getting thicker and thicker. the color's good. The thing is now, you gotta add salt and garlic powder, a little bit of pinch of cumin, just because I like that. But you want it to keep going. The thicker, you know, the better, in my opinion. As it's hot, it's gonna stay thin like this, but as it cools down, it'll get thick. Then it's just gonna be to taste, you know. You gotta see what your flavor, what you want. So you just keep adding salt, a little bit of salt. And now I usually go heavy on the garlic because I love garlic. But that's it, man. If you need to add more chili powder, add more chili powder for flavoring. The color's fine now. See that? The color's perfect. So now we just want to get the flavor profile the way you like it. Chili powder, garlic, a little bit of cumin, and some salt. That's pretty much it, man. Give it a taste. Pretty darn good. Jeepers creepers. Let that simmer. Now we got to get over and we got to brown some beef. So let's get that ready. Now for browning the meat, I mean seasoning the meat, it's going to be pretty simple. I mean I just add a little bit of chili powder and salt really to the meat because we're going to put them in enchiladas. So we don't want the meat to have an opposing flavor than the enchilada sauce and everything else has. So I keep the seasoning on the beef pretty simple. Look at that. Enchilada sauce is still simmering over there. It's getting good. Look at that. Oh, damn. Smell and taste. Once the hamburger meat is browned nicely, I put it in a strainer, leave it set in a sink. Let it cool down a little bit because it's going to need to cool down. And if you get up some pink, don't worry about it because they're going to get baked here in a minute and everything's going to be cooked through. So it's no big deal. But we're going to let this drain, cool down. Come back over, check on our enchilada sauce. See how that's nice consistency there. Whew. Let's give that a taste. Dude, forget about it. I'm serious. Forget about it. Now, what I like to do at this next point is I like to let this, I'm going to turn the heat off on the enchilada sauce. I think it's at a good stopping point. You know, I think it's tasty. I'm going to let it cool down, thicken up a little bit more. Taste it again. Oh yeah, I think it's at that spot. So what I like to do is let that cool down for a little bit. I'm going to take it off the hot plate here and let it cool down for a little bit. I'm going to clean up my mess here because I got some mess. And get this cleaned up. And I'm going to move on to the next step. Be back in a minute. This next part is really the messy part. It's putting everything together before we bake it. All right. First thing you got to do also is preheat the oven. You're just going to do simple 350 is fine. You know, you don't need anything spectacular with that. If you have a local place that makes tortillas fresh, it's awesome sauce. You can get it from there, which is what I got. A place down here, down the street makes these. Put them in a sauce, warm up, soften them. Grab yourself a little bit of hamburger meat. Make sure you wash your hands first. All right, hamburger meat. It's really this simple, man. Some cheese. I put a little bit too much in there. Then just roll it. I mean, seriously. I mean, that's it. You roll it up. See? It's as simple as that. It's the messy part because this sauce, I like to put a little bit of sauce in the bottom of the pan before I start just to have a bottom. But this sauce, and you want to put cheese in a bowl because you don't want to be, your fingers and hands are going to get full of sauce and you don't want to be putting them in the bag of cheese. That's why I put it in a bowl. But it gets messy, all right? It gets very, very messy. You know, by putting them tortillas in that hot enchilada sauce, though, it allows them to soften up. So